Welcome. Excuse me. First and foremost, I'm getting over a cold, or I'm going through a cold, so my voice may go in and out. Nevertheless, welcome to Can Angels Fly, Tarot, and More. My name is Nancy. At this particular time, I'm going to stay behind the scenes. And the reason why I'm staying behind the scenes until the 2 minute mark is because it usually takes about 2 minutes for the health of the live stream to correct itself. So during this time, I'm going to submit my personal plugs to you. Again, my name is Nancy. If you're ever interested in ordering your own personal tarot reading with me, all you got to do is contact me at my email. My email is canangelsfly1@gmail.com. I ask you also to like this content if you enjoy it. Put a thumbs up on it. To share my channel with someone, as well as to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And again, excuse me, my throat is really going in and out. Hi, how you doing? I can't see who it is yet, but I'm about to adjust my screen so I can see a little more. One other thing is that I disabled, what is it called, Super Chat. I disabled Super Chat because it does not seem like I really get the proceeds from Super Chat. So if you're interested in showing your support monetarily, all you have to do is either just email me and ask me to send you a payment, a PayPal invoice, and I'll do that with whatever amount you state, or you can just simply Cash App me. I've added my Cash App link to each scene. So we hit the 2 minute mark. So I'm going to come online to say hi to everybody. I'm going to try to line up my board so I can see. I don't know. Hi, George. How are you? Happy New Year's. Oh, I guess I should have said that to everybody. Happy New Year's. Happy New Year's to you. Me and my family bought the New Year's in, sick. The whole household sick. But we made it through. It was a good thing. It was a good time, good energy. We were in good spirits, even though other parts of us were not. So what's been going on in your world, George? Let's see if I can. I hope everything is working. It seems like it's been so long since I've been live that I done kind of forgot where everything should be. Excuse me. In this live stream, we're going to talk about the various superhuman powers that humans possess. Just the general populace. The humans that create, the general populace, the kind of superhuman powers they have. But if you follow me, you know I can't just go straight into just talking about the superhuman powers. I got to build up to it. So the actual listing of the superhuman powers a person may possess will be at the tail end of this video. I have to say this, and I've said it before, that it's very difficult for me to make short videos. I know shorter videos are more popular and are watched and are preferable to the viewer. And that has to do with us being manipulated into short attention spans. But I can't do it. I can't do it because I'm really here trying to, share some information with you. And in order to share the information effectively, I gotta show you the whole puzzle in order for you to understand. And George, you say, I just lost my dog, Leo, the little Maltese. He died less than an hour ago. What a way to bring her. Wow, I am so sorry to hear that, George. My condolences. I know what it is to lose a pet, a family, which is a family member and a friend. Like, what was it, last year? It's been about a year since we lost our dog, and our dog was like about 16 years old, and she was loyal. She was the second mama of the house, and it hurt so bad. I mean, it took forever. I told my kids, George, I told them, I don't want no more animals. I've had a shelter my homes have been shelters for animals. Some have been more long term, and it hurts every single time. I was like, every single time, and I feel so helpless when I can't do anything. Um, you know, can't. It's unfortunate we can't control certain things. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. That hurt my heart because I know how I feel. So it's just a reminder. But you're gonna make it through, George. You won't forget. You will not forget. I can tell you that. You won't forget about your baby, but you will make it through. So now this video is going to be long. I know I can't make short videos. So I just appreciate any person that, views my videos and really rides the wave with me from beginning to end. I'm sure if you're an avid follower of mine or viewer of mine, however it's labeled, that you have grown tremendously. I know you have, because I know me. I know me. And I have always been a great asset to people. And so I'm going to continue this year, hopefully being a great asset to everyone. And I just appreciate y'all, support and loyalty and things like that. And I say that because, again, this is another long video. And when I talk about the different subject matters that I'm going to talk about in this video, some people may look at them like the subject matters as, oh, we know that. But my question really is, okay, even though if you know it, do you really know it? And so that statement right there makes sense, maybe nearing the end of this video. And you say, George, I try not to adopt any animals, but my sister brings them home to me. And it's always that person that bring them to you because they know, oh, George is the one that'll take care of this baby. They do that to me. At least she wasn't alone. At least she wasn't alone. Exactly. And that's about all we can ask for, as well as the animals, to be loved and, supported through our various transitions and things like that and experiences. Yeah. But my kids, the reason why I have had all the dogs that I've had is because my kids bring them to me, or somebody just tried to bring me, and I know I ain't finishing my thought. Somebody just tried to bring me a little dog, and the dog stayed here for about 3-4 days. I was like, you got to take the dog. I don't want the dog. And she was so cute. And I don't know, I think she was like the dog that ends up real short with the big head, but stocky. And she was adorable. She looked like a girl, and she would just get up under me because I'm sitting up there and she all up under my side, and I'm looking like, what is this? I'm on the floor and the dog under my arm, and I'm just as comfortable. And my kids looked over at me and said, Mama, oh, she really like you. I'm like, who like me? Who like me? I'm leaning on the dog. It was the dog. I ain't paid the dog no attention. I was like, oh, no, get it up out of here. I don't want no more hurt and pain because of a dog. I don't want no more issues because of a dog. I can't do it no more. But there are some folks out there that will take care, adopt, and love the babies. But not me no more. I get popcorn under there. I got popcorn under there. Happy New Year's, y'all. So I'm about to move to another screen. Hopefully it'll go well. Because I've been working on this for a while. And y'all know when I've worked on something for a couple of weeks, by the time I get to it, I've been to forget how the order goes. And this is no different. But it's time to move forward because we're in the year 2020. And in the year 2020, we're going to have some experiences that in the past may have eluded us. But in 2020, these experiences that I'm going to discuss will not be eluding us. And we will be, I've talked about it, standing face to face with some of our nemesis. We'll be standing face to face with earth angels and earth demons. And so this video is going into detail about such subject matters. He said, thank you, Nancy. It's never easy. I had 8 cats before, 2 dogs. Did you? And the cats either. I just can't. I can't do it. I cannot do it no more. Even the cats. I was never a person that liked cats. And what? One of my kids bought a cat home because she found it outside in the wheel. What do you call it? The wheel uh, under a car. And it was a little baby. And it was in the dead of winter. And so she said, Mom, we got to keep it. It's so cold. And so we end up keeping the cat. And I'm like, okay. And it went from that. It's like every year she would find a cat, huddled up under a wheel, in the wheel of a car or something. And so right now we have 2 cats. And Lord have mercy. And I just don't want no more animals. I love them. I love them to death, but I don't want no more animals. And it never easy seeing the perish. Never easy seeing them perish. Yeah, like one, I want to get rid of her so bad because I don't have a car, and so I can't get her to the Humane Society to get her fixed. I can't synchronize everything. Now, one I was able to synchronize. This is our oldest cat. I was able to synchronize getting her to the Humane Society, getting her neutered, spaded, whatever they do to the girl. And she's beautiful, fat cat, lazy, look like Garfield. But it's this other one, the last one that we got, I haven't been able to synchronize getting her over there to have, the sterilization and everything. And she keep getting pregnant. I keep trying to keep her in the house. And she done chilled out now. Because I cussed and I tried my hardest to get that cat out my house. I called around to all of the shelters. And when I called a couple of shelters locally, they had some type of virus or something going on where they weren't accepting any more animals. I forgot what not a virus or something. The shelter was contaminated or something somehow. And so I had to wait a month for that. And I had to call back because the cat just stopped. Because I cussed her and talked about her so bad, George, that everything she was doing wrong, she stopped. She stopped trying to get out the house, everything, because she knew she was on the way up out of here. And it would hurt me so bad because she was this real sweetheart. She's a real sweetheart. And a real girl, even though it's animals, many times you can tell that they are male or female, and she is a girl, and sit up and purr and bat her eyelashes and do the baby face and like, I'm sorry. And so she got me. She's still here, so I'm just rambling. I'm all over the place, y'all. I know. So, okay, let's begin this. Where am I going to go? Okay, this is the opening. Again, let me start opening again. Welcome to Can Angels Fly Tarot and More. My name is Nancy. I am a professional tarot reader, an amateur astrologer, but yet I do so much more. I ask you to, enjoy my content. And if you do, please give it a thumbs up. I ask you to share this channel with someone and to subscribe to this channel if you have not. I have disconnected Super Chat because I don't feel like I was getting the proceeds from Super Chat. That is to say, if you're interested in supporting me and my work, all you have to do is cash at me. My link is below every scene. Or you can contact me at PayPal and ask me to send you a payment invoice for whatever amount you like to bless me with. Is there anything else? Scrap all of them. Happy New Year, all that kind of stuff, y'all. Okay, now, this is number 1. Superhuman powers. Again, we're not starting with these superhuman powers. My videos are absolutely long. We have to start somewhere else, and we're going to start with this scene here. And the reason why we're going to start with this scene here, as you see, these are the core social constructs. You say, this is a coincidence. You don't know it, man. See, I've been playing this song a lot called Heroes by David Bowie. I'm going to look that up. You know that? Thank you for bringing that up, George. Because I was like, I would love to see YouTube some suckers. Because I got a creative spirit. And I wanted to bounce up in this video like we're playing Missy Elliott. Called Rain or something. I Can't Stand the Rain, where she talk about being a superhero something, and I was like, I could bounce that and have stuff waving. They won't even let me. So you talk about the David Bowie. I'm gonna listen to it after I get off of here. So in order to talk about us as superhuman heroes or having superhuman powers, we need to understand first why we need or what these superhuman powers are withstanding. What are they withstanding? And they're going to withstand actually the antagonist of this world, and we're going to go into all of that. But first, we got to talk about this physical world. Let me. I got notes, y'all. I told you, long, but we going in deep. We going in the deep. So, okay, let me read because the subject matters I have written here are people with superhuman powers and earth angels and demons and so much more. Anywho, these humans with superhuman powers and these earth angels and demons, they walk this earth in a physical human form. In physical human form, this is important. It says, I have written here, don't let form fool you. What do I mean by don't let form fool you? The external appearance of a person is only a shell. It is a form. Don't let form fool you. Now, at this time, I want to define the word form. And form is defined as the particular mode, appearance, etc., in which a thing or person manifests itself. The form. The form or human form having a shape or form of or resembling. What am I saying? I'm saying that we are spiritual beings having what? A human experience. In order for us spiritual beings of all types to have a physical experience, we have to take on a physical vessel that interacts and interfaces in this physical realm. So right now I'm talking about the spirits that dwell within. We've talked about this before. Happy New Year's, H. How are you? We talked about it before. How can I say this? How can I say? Oh gosh. Because when I'm writing and thinking, when I'm setting this stuff up, I'm talking to myself. Do you get the concept that you're a spirit and that spirit has no form and no shape? Do you get that? And then for whatever reason, these various spirits that are us manifest in a physical body, in these physical vessels. Do y'all get that? See, that's important to know, because your vessel or your body or your shell is not who you are. That's what I'm trying to get down to. Anyway, I'm going to try to read. So remember, the external body or vessel is like they call it clay vessel. And when there's a vessel, remember, a vessel is a person regarded as a holder or receiver of something, especially something non-material. I got to get it together. Okay. Just read. What am I saying? I'm saying, as an example, that each human being, including you and me, are merely clay vessels. And a vessel is defined as a person regarded as a holder or a receiver of something, especially something non-material. So, our vessels, our bodies, contain something. And what they contain is spirit. This is important. If I did it right. Anyway, I'm going to just read so I can get down to the basics. The human body, the vessel, is designed to interact and to interface with the physical realm. Did you know that? If you've been on my channel following me and studying with me, you know that. Especially designed to interact and interface with this whole physical realm. The physical body, the vessel, belongs here, originates from here. But the soul or spirit is not. Let me go ahead. So, the physical realm, this is my title, I guess. the physical realm, and sociology. This is getting complex, y'all, because I'm starting to reach back and deal with things we've covered over the last 2 or 3 years. And the reason I'm doing that is because the astrological events that have begun to unfold since we entered into 2020 is an accumulation of all the works and studies we've done over the last several years. And so here we are. Right now, we're going to talk about, again, the physical realm. Remember, our human body, our vessel, has been designed, specially designed, to interact with the physical realm. And so, as humans, getting complicated. Because there are so many humans in this earth. How many? 7.5 plus billion people in the world? Thank you, George. Hi, Yanni. How are you? Happy New Year's. There is a field of study. And the field of study is called sociology. And sociology deals with all the people that create the world and how we relate and all that kind of stuff. It's important. I know y'all come here and be like, hey, this is not fun. I don't want to be in school. But in order to truly understand this realm that you are existing in and what is actually occurring around you, you must understand these basic details about our reality, even sociology. So, sociology is the study of the development, structure, and functioning of human society. It's important. It's important relative to people with superhuman powers as well as earthly angels and demons. I'll show you if you just ride the wave with me. So what I want to do right now is, I may ask y'all some questions. Being frequent flyers here on YouTube, I assume that you've heard terms such as constructs. Constructs. I've used the term many times and I've tried to define it. Are you clear about what constructs are? Well, if you're not, today is the day that you'll gain your clarity, even though we've talked about it before. Over here, what's that? Over here. Y'all know I don't never know what's that right here. Is some images that show our and I say our, I'm talking about this world's primary social constructs. This is important relative to what? People that have superhuman powers and as well as those earthly angels and demons. These various constructs that create our overall structure, world structure, are important to understand at this point in time in history and humanity. Because, let me stop, I'm getting myself confused. So, let's look at these social constructs. And I'm going to talk about them in detail because I just want to bring a level of awareness. You say happy, fresh energy. I like that, happy, fresh energy. Natural new year in spring, in the springtime, when all begins to bloom anew. Not sure how long I can hang tonight, but grateful for your teachers. Thank you, Yanni. Well, I just appreciate you dropping through and showing your support. You know, I need it. As George said, y'all hit the like button. So, let's talk about these basic social constructs. You got all the images over here that correspond. You can figure it out. Listen intensely, okay? The first social construct, understanding the constructs are, the first social construct is government. Government. So, talking just about government, to show the complexity of our world structure, we should understand that the government has 15 distinct branches. And each of those 15 branches have numerous subdivisions. That's a social construct. The next is race. We've talked about all these things, but now it's race. Now, remember, we're dealing with constructs in order to understand what it means when we hear the term construct. race is a construct, social construct. And remember, when it comes to race, there are 4 major races worldwide. Now, y'all know I done Googled all this for the information. There's no more going to the library and stuff. So I Googled it. Whether it was www.dictionary.com, Wikipedia, or whatever other source I might cite along the way. So, anyway, let's talk about these 4 major races in the world. There's white or Caucasian, is Mongoloid or Asian, is Negroid or black, and Australoid. No. Australoid. Australoid. These are the 4 primary races in the world. And there are 195 countries worldwide with their own unique cultures. These are all social constructs. The next social construct is gender. Gender identity terms. Gender. Let me say this. Gender is defined as either the male or female division of a species. That's the definition of gender. Then, I didn't write down the site I went to. I actually made a mistake and closed it down. But I wrote it down. I know I did. What's the name? It was called U.S.D. It was a site that I found that listed all of these, what are they called? Gender identity terms, because we're talking about constructs. What construct are we on right now? We're on gender. And I went to this place called U.S.D. And U.S.D. talks about the different gender identity terms. So, here y'all go. Here we go. Y'all ready? Agender, bigender. I guess this is CIS gender. I don't know what that is. Intersex, gender expression, gender fluid, gender queer, gender variant, MX, third gender, transgender, two-spirit, and a ZZE or HIR. You know, the LGBTQ plus example of the various genders. Anyway, it's a vast amount of different ways that gender is being redefined. That's what I need to focus on, y'all, before I go further. Just focusing on gender. See, it's a lot of stuff accumulating on us now that we're in 2020. And I really not sure how to break it down and show it to you, you know. But I have to stop. After we've looked at the government as a construct, race as a construct, now we're on gender. Gender is very important because how can I say, naturally, gender, there are only 2 genders. There is the male and female. We are entering into a new paradigm, or into a way of conservative, or not conservative. Is it conservative? No, not conservative. I can't think of it. But we're moving into a more, I have to say new paradigm because I can't think of the term that I want to use. It's a new word, a new term I want to add to our vocabulary, but I can't think of it. Contemporary. Contemporary is a new word, y'all. Pay attention. Contemporary. So we have developed a new mindset, a more contemporary mindset, and that contemporary mindset around gender has expanded gender into all of these different categories. And naturally there are only 2, male and female, but okay, there are multiple genders now. But these are what? So that's a social construct. Moving forward, the next social construct, and all of the images are over here relative to what I'm talking about, is femininity and masculinity. Now, femininity and masculinity are also social constructs. Listen to this relative to these femininity and masculinity. The true meaning or energy of these states of consciousness are being used interchangeably with gender. This is so important. And again, it's a lot of complexity here. And again, I don't know really how to break it down in order to help you see. But when we talk about and we've done this as well, we've covered all this information already. But this is the what they call it, the pinnacle of all that we've again studied over the last few years. And I'll make it make sense in the end if I can. Just ride away with me. So we just talked about gender and how gender has been the definition or the identities associated with gender have expanded, right? When it comes to masculinity and femininity, they are being closely interchanged with gender. Like, it's a male, it's a female, it's masculine, it's feminine. And it is causing a distortion in our level of comprehension. I don't know if that makes sense. So, but just be aware that masculinity and femininity are states of consciousness. We talked about it. There are certain actions or behaviors that correspond with masculine energy. The consciousness of how to be forceful and brute and direct, those kind of things. And then there is another set of consciousness that is relative or related to femininity, knowing how to be submissive or more caring or more receptive, So those are levels of consciousness and awareness, where gender is a physical, is a expression of the physicality. I'm going to try to make it make sense. I got to come back to that one. So anyway, let me try to go through it. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the various social constructs that create our overall world structure. And so we've talked about thus far, with me taking so long, we talked about the government or government, race, gender, femininity, and masculinity. Now we're on to illness. Illness, yes, y'all, is considered a social construct. And when it comes to illness, illness is a social construct, yes. From illness, we have the medical field, doctors, and all of that. And when we start talking about illness, we're dealing with physical illnesses that are temporary or long-term or terminal. When we're talking about illnesses, it could be talking about mental illnesses. And there are 7 main types of mental illnesses. So that's a whole construct. It ends up covering the pharmaceutical, arena, the hospitals, the doctors, and all of that. On to the next social construct is marriage. And marriage branches off into so many different compartments, because there are marriages. Did you know there are 19 different types of marriages? These are our social constructs. I don't know what to call it. 19 different. Y'all Google it. 19 different types of marriages. Okay. And then it also takes in consideration like the income of the couple. Are they a low income or fixed income, or who has the greatest income determines what their income will actually be. Let me see if I make sense. If you have 2 people that are on a fixed income, and they want to get married in order to have a companion, talking about an older couple, be companions and to sharing bills. Our system won't allow them to do that without there being some financial penalty to them. That's just an example. And so marriage is another social construct. Anyway, let me jump, because I'm trying not to lose myself and talk too much about either one of these areas. The next social construct is family. There are 6 different types of family types. There's the nuclear family, the single parent family, the extended family, a childless family, a step family, as well as grandparent family. There, that is the next construct. So what have we talked about? Running them back. The reason why I'm breaking them down is so that you can see it's just not illness. It is a various categories that branch from illness. There are 15 at least categories that branch from government. So that's why I'm trying to go into a little detail. Anyway, the various social constructs that we have covered thus far is government, race, gender, femininity and masculinity, illness, family. The next is organized religion. Organized religion. Did you know, I know you know because we went over it, that there are roughly 4,200 religions in the world, out of which Christianity is the world's largest religion, followed by Islam, then non-religious, secular, agnostic, atheist, then Hinduism, and then Buddhism. The next social construct is technology. Yes, even technology. And there are 20 types of technology. And I went to Simple www.simpleCable.com. Anyway, they talk about the 20 types of technology, and they have them listed as follows. Information technology, networks, sensors, Internet of Things, transportation, energy, agriculture, architecture, entertainment and media, arts and music, industrial machines, clothing and accessories, medical technology, assistive technology, science, space, robotics, artificial intelligence, and super intelligence are all the subcategories to technology. So thus far, I'm going back again, y'all, because I got to make it make sense. So just ride the wave with me, if you will. The social constructs we talked about thus far are government, race, gender, femininity, masculinity, illness, family, organized religion, technology, and now the next one is deviance. Deviance, yes, even deviance. I'm going to read what I have here. Deviance is the disruption or recalibration of society. And I got that from www.courses Lumene, Lumeen learning.com. It is a form. There is formal deviance, which includes criminal violations of formally enacted laws. Examples are like that of robbery, theft, rape, murder, assault. And then there's also deviance in a type of one violating cultural norms. These are different varieties of deviant acts or behaviors. And you know what springs from deviance is what the justice system, the criminal justice system, and different things like that. And the final social structure is education. And education is designed to guide an individual into a compatible social role that will sustain the established social structure. I wrote that. I didn't have to Google to get that. So I'm going to read my definition for education. Education is designed to guide an individual, each one of us, into a compatible social role that will sustain the established social structure. And you know, education is broken up into preschool, elementary, middle school, high school, and then higher education. And higher education has the levels of associates, bachelor's, master's, and doctoral. So we talked about 11 core social constructs that create our overall world social structure. And these 11 social constructs are government, race, gender, masculinity, femininity, illness, marriage, family, I missed marriage, organized religion, technology, deviance, and education. Those are the 11 Um, that wasn't too bad, y'all. Ooh, only 40 minutes. Only 40 minutes. Look, that wasn't too bad, but it was important. It's important where we're going. So, we've done that. Let me check that off my list. So the next thing, let me try to explain. Can I explain it now? Why that's important. See, I haven't, it's been a while since I had these notes and started working on this, so, I forget. But let me try to explain why being able to see clearly the various constructs that create our overall structure, why it's so important relative to people having superhuman powers and having to use them now, and as well as to understand that there are earth angels and demons that walk here upon this earth. The reason why it's important to know these social constructs is because it allows us to see how, I'll say, how can I say this? Because we talked about it. But what I'm saying is, remember, there's 7.5 plus billion people in the world. And these various social constructs came into existence because 7.5 plus billion people had to be managed at all times. Their well-being and their safety has to be secure. Yes, 7.5 plus billion people at all times. Not only that, 7.5 plus billion people have to be attended to as far as making sure that they receive the substance that they need to sustain their life. The distribution of life-sustaining natural resources to all people. Yeah, that's what all of these constructs are about. Making sure that we stay what? Healthy. That's what it's supposed to be about. This whole system is supposed to be ensuring that we not only survive, but we strive and evolve. However, there's corruption. And that's the complication that I'm running into. You say, love your education description. Bravo, Aquarian. Thank you. Thank you for your support, y'all. And so, when we look at this physical realm and this life that we're in, we're all in the same boat. I don't care just how wealthy you are, or poor you are, or what color you are, or race, or size, creed, sexual orientation. Doesn't matter. We're all in the same boat, earth, and we're supposed to be rowing together so we can figure some things out. And so this structure was created to help us govern ourselves. But then what? Corruption came in. That's a whole nother video. So I'm going to try to stay on point. And so these various social constructs help us organize what needs to be done to sustain our lives. That's what the big political battle is about. There are people that believe that, everybody is not worthy of living and thriving. They don't believe it. They have, when I say they, I'm saying there's a particular group of people that have come to be very narcissistic, having this sense of entitlement and superiority. And so they use these various social constructs in a way that has destabilized society, overall humanity. And so that's what's really going on in the world now. And even on an intimate level, when I'm saying intimate, I'm talking about on a close level in your intimate life. When we ask what's wrong with people, when we ask what's wrong with people, their behavior and stealing, killing, all those deviancies, it is an effect of the corruption that has occurred in this whole system by those that have that sense of entitlement or supremacy, or whatever the case may be. Let me see. I don't know if I'm making it make sense, but this is about superhuman powers. So let me try to move forward. Maybe at the end, y'all, I'm all out the camera frame. Maybe at the end I could come back and try to make it make sense. So I'm going to move on, and I want to talk about earth angels and demons. I don't even know if I'm supposed to go to scene 3, y'all. Y'all should see this mess. Oh, I'm still in here. Hi. I be trying to be ahead of the game. So you've seen this image before, and I bought it back again. And right now we're talking about earth angels and demons and the Constitution. Like the Constitution? Constitution? Yeah. Okay. Let's read the definition of Constitution. This is important to understand people having to use their superhuman powers at this point in time in the history of humanity. All of this is interlinked. So the Constitution is defined as a body of fundamental principles or established precedents according to which a state or other organization is acknowledged and to be governed. What does that mean, really? When I brought up the word Constitution, not just talking about like the American Constitution or U.S. Constitution, just the Constitution period that governs what needs to take place in order to ensure that our system runs smoothly and effectively in its move to distribute to over 7.5 plus billion people the substance that they need to help them live and to strive. That Constitution. So we're not just talking about the U.S. Constitution is what I'm trying to get you to see. Anyway, what is being governed? What are we talking about? How can I say this? Remember, I'm talking about the Constitution, not the U.S. Constitution, just that there is a constitutional or layout. Remember, let me go. Constitution, remember, is fundamental principles or established precedents. What's important? What do we focus on? In order, we have to make sure that we focus on certain things. And those certain things are the constructs that develop. Y'all, am I making it make any sense at all? I'm sure I'm not. But I'm going to go ahead and move forward, y'all. So, let's talk about the distribution of life-sustaining resources to 7.5 billion people all over the world. Over, we talked about this too, 7 continents. Africa, Antarctica, Asia, Australia, Oceania, whatever, I think that goes to Australia, Europe, North America, and South America. And it's also 195 countries. I know I brought up that about the 195 countries. Why is that important? The 195 countries are important because each of those countries have their own culture, meaning they have their own issues and concerns, etc., and rituals, types of food they eat. We talked about culture, okay, or cults, So, what am I talking about? The Constitution talks about, what it takes to govern 7.5 billion people, or the people in the on the 7 different continents, or the 195 countries or nations in the world. That's what the Constitution is talking about. How do we do these things? And remember, this whole system has been corrupted. Whole nother conversation. Don't know if I'm getting there now. Anyway, another thing is about an ongoing is the governing of the population of humanity. Governance of humanity is to provide an ongoing, stable, and secure. I'm trying, y'all. See, when I ain't did something in a long time, I be lost. Let me see. What I'm talking about is that when it's 7.5 plus billion people in the world, there are an infinite, I think, amount of spirits that are in this physical realm. As I talked about before about myself, I know that I have multiple cohabitating spirits. And so if there are 7.5 billion people in the world, and each person has multiple spirits dwelling within, there is a lot of potential for discord in this world. I guess I can say that. And so another part of the Constitution and or our construct is that we have to be policed. I guess that's the best word I can use, policed. We have to be policed in order not to do what? Rip each other apart. So that's another part of the Constitution, setting up these regulations, or what is it, blueprint, the blueprint to how to govern humanity, how to govern humanity based on its sector. This is important. I'm going to try to move forward because that's not working right well. So anyway, I want to talk about the hierarchy of earth angels and demons. Okay. Right now we're talking about a particular bracket, earth angels and demons. What are we, a hierarchy? So what is it? Number one, the highest level of the hierarchy is the construct developers, the people that saw that we needed education, that saw we needed we had to do something relative to illness, that saw we need a government. So these are our earth angels and demons. And I was saying earlier in this live stream, a lot of what I'm saying is some people may want to strike as irrelevant or insignificant because it may seem like I'm actually, I guess the word personifying spiritual beings, you know, personifying spiritual beings. And yes, in a way that I am. But to me, a person that has sees spirit, I see spirits, and so I know what I'm talking about is true. I don't know how else to say that. I know it's true. From another's perspective, they could just be saying that I'm personifying spiritual beings, you know. So it is what it is. So anyway, the hierarchy of earth angels and demons. And angels and demons are, I guess you could say, a polarity. It is the positive and negative, the dark and the light. And so an angel or demon can be at this level of the hierarchy. Amazing. Anyway, construct developers. Then the next level is professionals. And what are the professionals? Is those that manage and sustain the various social constructs. The next in the hierarchy, moving downward, are savvy individuals, is what I label them, for a lack of better words. Savvy individuals. These are people that have intelligence, knowledge, and skills equal to or just less than the construct developers and professionals, but do not possess the socially acceptable accolades like degrees, awards, endorsements, license, and accreditations. Y'all, I done drank so much water, I got to go to the bathroom, y'all. So y'all give me a minute. I'm gonna come back. Maybe that'll help me do better. Whew. Oh, you said, oh, wow, multiple spirits. This world is crowded. No wonder I love open space. Oh, yeah. That's a good way to, get space actually to move, be in an open area. Oh, y'all, but I got to go. Because I made my nerves bad and I got to use the bathroom. I'm going to be right back taking a break. Woo. I'll be right back, y'all. I'm back, y'all. Whew. I held that for so long. Woo. I got an old bladder now. I had to go. When you got to go, when you get old, when you got to go, you got to go. So, let me try to lay back and be more relatable. Because I know I'm just throwing a lot of information on y'all. And this live is, I repeat, it is about our superhuman powers and how they have come online, and I just want to point them out to you. They are powers that we've always possessed and may have even used even multiple times in the course of our life. But I don't believe that we understand what our superhuman powers are, so I do want to talk about them. But in order for me to talk about the superhuman powers that we possess and are being called to execute, in 2020 and beyond, we have to understand the context of what will be occurring in our reality that will trigger us to have to use these superhuman powers. And so that's why I started this live stream talking about what was the first part? Oh Lord, the constructs, because those are the fields that will trigger us. Those are the fields. Those are the stages that will be playing on, in which we will be triggered to use our superhuman powers. Right now, I'm talking about earth angels and demons, because they are like, I put it like this, we like Robin. But these earth angels, I'll say, are like, who was it, Batman and Robin? They like Batman. But us, with just our superhuman powers, are like Robin. And so that's the kind of distinction I want to make. So going on and talking about these earth angels and demons and the hierarchy, I'm trying to help you identify what an earth angel is. Again, this is people just like you and I. But these earth angels and demons, although people just like you and I, because they have taken on a vessel, they have acquired a level of awareness or knowledge about this physical world in a particular, at least one area of life. And we talked about it, about being proficient in a particular area. Like being an attorney or a doctor or a surgeon that's being proficient in a particular area. And these professional people or experts, they manage and sustain the various social constructs. Like when it comes to hospitals or the social construct is illness. And from illness comes hospitals. And the hospitals have doctors and nurses. They are the ones that uphold the construct. And these are either our earth angels or earth demons. We'll go into detail in a minute. Let's see. And so the last thing I was saying is that also there are also just savvy individuals that have the intelligence, the awareness, the knowledge, and the skill set that is equivalent to or just less than a professional. The only difference is the person doesn't have possibly have not obtained the accolades or degrees or endorsements or licenses as the professional is. What do they call them? Yeah, they have to have a licensed professional. Some people are not licensed professional, but they have been trained, and some of them formally trained. in particular fields, but just never got that degree. I'm an example of a person like that. I went through school and fell just this short of getting my bachelor's degree in a particular area. It doesn't take away that I got that education that they gave, and so there's a lot of people like that. And so I wanted to point that out. Another thing about the angels and demons that walk this earth, as well as some of the savvy individuals, is that they have a particular IQ level. And we talked about this. And their IQ level is usually around 129 or 130 and upwards. Upwards to 199, which is a genius. Some people are geniuses. There are a few. That's a whole nother thing. So I'm just saying above 129. Y'all, I'm going somewhere with this. I'm just trying to stay calm. I'm making sense. Thank you, Yanni. I be needing what they call support, confirmation, what is validation. I need some validation, y'all. See, I wish I could play Misty Elliott, the song I wanted, because see, I can be jamming and singing and keeping myself calm as I move through this, because we need to know this information. So I'm bringing up the IQ once again, because we talked about it, in order to, state that the majority of the world's population, IQ is, on average, between 90 and 110. 90 and 110. That's average. A percentage is even less than 90, ranging from 70 to 89, which is considered dim-witted. You know what I'm saying? Let me try to clarify, because my difficulty I'm facing is that I've gone through all of these things in the past, and I did put some cards, some videos I referred y'all to. I don't know how the cards come up on here, overhead or something. So we talked about all these things, and I went in detail. I did so by following the astrological energies and doing what it instructed me to do. And now it's instructing me to go back over everything, because it all is significant to what is about to unfold. And it's stressing me out, because it's a whole bunch of stuff. I broke it down. I tried to summarize it, put it all together. So, why is it important to look at humans' IQ? Well, we know if a person is considered dim-witted, it's not much understanding or awareness that they may have, right? So how helpful are they to sustaining humanity, or making sure like the government does what it's supposed to do in order to distribute all the natural resources to the people of the world? They can't. Then there's those people that the majority of societies who IQ is between 90 and 110. 90 and 110. Well, most people that have an IQ between 90 and 110 are basic laborers, people that work in the offices. They are preoccupied with life. They're preoccupied with work and trying to excuse me, y'all know I got a cold. Trying to obtain what they need in this physical world is to feel secure and stable. We talked about that too. And so they're preoccupied. So they're also been termed sheeple, people that just follow the system, follow whatever the constructs say. And then there is a smaller percentage of the world's population that have IQ over like 129, meaning they are very aware, they are proficient in a particular, at least one area in this world, whatever it may be, whether it's law, education, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And how I forgot where I was going. Because these are our earth angels and demons. So we need to know that. What am I saying? Let me see how I can convert that. Thought and talking are two different things, y'all. You let yours. There's two different things. Okay. So let me talk about I Googled to find out the top 10 career fields. And why are the top 10 career fields important relative to angels and demons? Because remember, these angels and demons are the ones that have acquire the education, the know-how, the knowledge, and have the skills to do certain things, right? So if those are people that got the high IQs, the awareness, the talents, now we got to look at the top 10 career fields they in. And so here are the examples. There is computer and technology designers, health, and these are angels and demons. So we can say it like this. There are angels and demons, both that do computer and technology designs. Let me try to offer you an example. If an angel is developing some form of technology, that technology would be beneficial to the evolution of humanity. Angel. If a demon was doing some technology, designing some technology, they would do so in a way that does what? Give them, the demon, and those that are similar to themselves, the upper hand. Not only that, whatever their computer design ends up being would in some way destabilize anything foreign to itself. I don't know if it makes sense. Hopefully I'll get that. That's the difference between the angel and demon. Anyway, the next career field is healthcare and allied health providers. So, once again, example, an earth angel that is in the healthcare field or is a allied health provider, their works are going to do what? They're going to be more willing to end pain and suffering for people that have terminal illnesses. They're going to be willing to, offer alternative healing methods or whatever works. They would, when it comes to the medical insurance, how they take people through all these loops and HMOs and all that kind of stuff. They would make it more beneficial to mankind because they're an angel. But if the person is a demon in the healthcare industry or allied health provider, they're going to do what? They're going to make so many loops for the common Jane and Joe to jump through in order to get the medical help that they need or the resources that they need. Is it starting to make sense to you why I am listing the top 10 career fields relative to angels and demons? These angels and demons are the ones that hold high seats. They are very knowledgeable, very aware, able to comprehend. They have the talents and skills and can apply them. And they, again, sit in these seats of power. Anyway, the next top 10 career field is education and social service workers. Then it is arts and communications. Then the next career field is trades and transportation. The next career field is management, business, and finance experts. The next top 10 field is architecture and civil engineering specialist. I'm going to come back to that one. Let me mark that. I want to come back to that to show you that there are demons walking the earth right now relative to architecture and civil engineering. But I'll go on. The next top 10 career field is science. The next is hospitality, tourism, and the service industry. The next is law and law enforcement. We see a lot of demons in that area. I don't think there's no need to explain any further as far as that. But I wanted to go back to the architecture and civil engineering specialists and talk about angels and demons in this particular field, a career field. Now, just recently I did what do you call it, a decoding of Kyon West, whatever his name is, album called Jesus is King or whatever. And one of the songs I decoded talked about a plan that is in motion. Y'all, it gets so deep. I wish I could, really talk to y'all. And I've been talking to y'all, but it's all relevant. I feel, I don't know. When I did that decoding of his Kyon West, Mr. West album, Jesus is King or whatever it was, I found that it was saying, one of the songs was saying or foretelling of a plan that the powers that be already have in place. And the plan is about using, I'll say, contaminated land to build new housing on for people, low-income people, or people living at the poverty level, like ghettos or projects or something. You know what I'm saying? And he tells that in the song. And I don't know what to say, because it bothers me, number one, that I don't get a lot of views. And then for those that view, some dig it, some get it, and others just reject it. But if you look at my whole channel and all of my works, you see it all goes together. And I tell you how I'm getting the information, where to look. Maybe I'm not saying it clear enough. I don't know. But the reason why I bring that up is because in that song, it tells his Mr. West is telling people that listen to him, hey, this was about to happen. He also tells the whole album is only about 28 minutes long or whatever it is, and it's a speech. I talk about it, and he's telling us, hey, you stupid, you ain't watching. I got it. He'll be foolish to miss out on this opportunity. And he's letting people know, hey, you're not aware. That's on you. You preoccupied with bull crap. This is about to happen. This is one of the moves they about to make on you, which is building houses on contaminated. I forgot what the word was, the terminology was, but basically contaminated land. And you're about to get got. So he's telling us if a person decoded it right. And I bring that up because it was also in, that wasn't the first one, it was in someone else. And then after I did that video, I watched this lady name, what's this lady name? And I talked about her, oh gosh, where is that? I don't want to mess everything up. Y'all, I'm kind of ranting, but I'm ranting for, I don't want to mess it up, I can't think of the name, but I even come right back after that video and talk about how it was confirmed. She immediately confirmed her whatever message she was giving, confirmed the building of these houses on this contaminated land. The same message I picked up in this man's music. And so, remember, there are angels and demons. Would an angel build like public housing or low-income housing that will make people sick, because it's on like marshland, meaning it's wet, therefore it's fungus and different things like that. And people that have asthma and other things like that, ailments would come into existence or be amplified. Would an angel do such a thing? No. Demons would. Do you get what I'm saying? What I'm talking about, angels and demons walking here in this world? Okay. And it was something else about the architecture I wanted to talk about, because that's not the only clue that we've been given in the course of just this year about this low-income housing that is to be, I know. And then I also did a message called The Secret Message, where I talked about once we enter over into 2020, we are confronted with possibly there being a Great Depression greater than that which was in the 1930s. And I talked about how the people in power at that time intentionally destabilized the rest of the population or society so that they couldn't make a move, while the people in power organized the various constructs and things in their favor. this housing thing was one of the moves they made back then in the 1930s, creating housing projects. It also opened up housing opportunities for, and they doing it here in the D too. What do they call it? We'll say middle class housing, because I can't think of the terms, because I wasn't planning to speak about it. I just saw it. And so my whole point is, I don't know if it makes sense, is that it has been told throughout this year, through multiple means, that there's something going on in the housing market. It's been something going on. One of the things is that they will be building, again, more low-income houses in more, again, I can't think of the word, contaminated areas. And on the other side, they're going to take the more lavish or rich areas and build them up for housing for upper to middle class. So I don't know if it makes sense. However, that's an example of angels and demons, what I was trying to do. Anyway, we know about it. I brought up in law enforcement. So what was I doing just now? I was talking about the 10 top career fields of angels and demons, to give you an example. And we talked about computers and technology designers, healthcare and allied health providers, education and social service workers, art and communications, trades and transportation, management, business and finance experts, architecture and civil engineering specialists, science, hospitality, tourism, and the service industry. And last but not least, law and law enforcement. There are angels and demons in each of these sectors. These are just examples. That's okay. Those are the 10 top career fields. Okay. So anyway, I just want to define angels right now. I'm going somewhere with it. You just ask you to ride the wave with me a little bit further, and I'll try to make this make sense. So, an angel is a person who performs a mission of God or acts as if sent by God. Who is God? Let's read the definition. God. A man who has qualities regarded as making him superior, capable to other men. Do you get it? I don't know if I can make this make sense. What am I talking about? What is an angel? Based on the definition, it just talks about a person that's on a mission from God to do godly things. God? What is a God? Well, it said God is someone that has a superior quality than other people. So the angels in this world are men. They are people on a God mission, meaning they have a mission that other people, other humans can't do, because they don't have the superior capability. They don't have the knowledge, the know-how, the skills, the talent, the social pool, the affiliations. Read your definitions closely is what I'll say. Okay, let's see. What else I got here so I can hurry up and make this make sense. Let's see. An angel is a being that understands the complexity and vulnerability of creation and consciously participates in sustaining the balance and well-being of the creation by means of its works. I made that up. And what am I reading? I'm talking about the angels in this world. I'm talking about the attorneys that will go to fight for the underdog. I'm talking about the doctors that will save lives, even if they don't get paid the defined value of a treatment. I'm talking about those type of angels. It says an angel is a being that understands the complexity and vulnerability of creation and consciously participates in sustaining the balance and well-being of the creation by the means of its works. That's what an angel is. Now, a demon. A demon, is a being that also possesses an extensive awareness about creation but chooses to perform works and deeds that threaten the balance and well-being of creation. In short, that's what it is. In short, again, we're talking about lawyers that surrender their services over to, low income people. What they call it? What do they call it? I can't think of what they call it. Legal aid, like legal aid. That's an angel. An attorney can earn, I don't know, average 125 to starting at 125 per hour. An attorney. The underdog or the majority of humanity can't afford $125 to retain an attorney per hour. And so there are attorneys, there are angels that, donate their time and energy and their talent in order to assist, the underprivileged, the underdog, a person living below, or at or below the poverty level. These are angels. There are doctors that will, you may not have the healthcare coverage or whatever. They the kind that slip you the medicine. They're the kind that get people together and say, hand your medicine in, and on the low, administer it out. You know what I'm saying? They're the kinds that will, write you a prescription and say, go get your medicine, but it's enough for 2 people. These are real live walking angels in this world. And they are, this is another thing I want to read because I like, let's see. All right, that's not it. Okay. And I wanted to talk about that. What other fields? Any other field? What about a teacher? There are teachers that, I'm talking about work on the early stages of education, preschool, elementary, middle school, high school. There are teachers that are not, I'll say, natural teachers. They just got a job to make some money. And you can tell them they say you tell a person by their works. The teachers that are real teachers understand the needs in the community in which they work. They are angels. And they bring combs and brushes and underwear for kids and socks for kids and toothbrushes and toothpaste. These are our earth angels. And then there is the others, the demons. These are the teachers that are there for the money. These are the teachers that belittle the children and do cruel and mean things to them. Pecking at them. Things that many parents may not even be aware of. These are, and when I'm talking about demons, because this is a duality, we talked about doctors that put forth so much effort. They help guide you through, the blue tape to get what you need. Send you referrals, references. They accept samples from different companies and they give the samples out. These are earth angels. These are doctors that are earth angels. But then there are doctors that are demons, and we hear about them. These are doctors that falsely diagnose people with the cancer and give them cancer treatment when they don't need it. There are doctors that will allow you to suffer. I've known one. I ain't gonna go into that. So these are real life demons. And it's in every area. And that's what we need to see as we move into this into our future from here on out. I don't know how to see it because you're supposed to be looking for something. You're supposed to be aware. This is about aware. Let me move forward. Go to get to these superhuman powers. Try to make it make sense. Okay, but let's talk about the angels as the protagonists, the protectors, the fighting against corruption and things like that, versus the antagonist, the corrupter, the offender, the abuser. Let's talk about the antagonist. Let's see what I got written here. Examples of antagonists are people, organizations, social structures, cults, etc., that have an invested interest in revising, maintaining, and sustaining previously established social constructs, primarily patriarchal in nature, that manipulated people into service or I don't know. You go my writing again, y'all. Or something. Various social constructs. I missed the words. I can't read it. Or various social constructs that restricted the person from. Oh, I know. I think I'm getting there, y'all. I know. I'm coming. Ride the wave. We're going somewhere with all of this. What am I talking about? I'm talking about what an antagonist is. And these are people that, remember, the structure that we've been up under has been very suppressive. Basically, is what I'm saying about what defines an antagonist. They're part of sustaining and maintaining the structure that has been very suppressive to others or people or to the populace. And and it kept people from pursuing what? Their constitutional rights to be in the pursuit of life, liberty, to pursue life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Freedom, life. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I can't read my writing, y'all. Says that works to manipulate the policies, rules, and laws to be beneficial, even profitable to themselves. This is the antagonist. And to those they deem similar to themselves and or others deemed worthy and or essential to the success of their basic agenda. What am I talking about there? Which is interesting. My mind going somewhere else now because I just talked about in another video. Oh, it was about the astrological energies. Talked about the astrological energies, and it talked about the people not wanting to be dispensable, making themselves worthy in the eyes of our social construct so that they don't suffer. Okay, we just talked about it. Anyway, I was talking about the antagonist. I'm talking about the antagonist, y'all, and what an antagonist is. What is this about? Let me see if I can make it make sense. What is this live stream, all this stuff I've been talking about, really about? It is about being able to see what's right before your eyes. In past times, you very well may have ignored what you were experiencing. But we're entering a time that it will be detrimental for you to ignore or not be able to recognize what's right before you. And so in this live stream, as well as the last live stream I did, I think it's called The Knowing 2020, is to help you be able to see everything that you're looking at. I'm trying to get it. Because it's like the back. I added to this live stream some cards, meaning some suggested videos that I made. And one of them is called The Address of the Soul. And I refer you back to that video because 2 years ago is when we started talking about coming to understand the spirits that dwell within you, the cohabitating spirits. Because this is a time period, the time period we're in, that those cohabitating spirits are going to come out. They're going to come out. If you can't control them. Remember, it's about you being a steward over your vessel, your ship. And so if you're not in control, those cohabitating spirits that you have, that each of us have, is going to just take control of your vessel. But if you have trained yourself and know what dwells within, then you will be the steward of your vessel. I say allotting the appropriate times and moments for those cohabitating spirits to express themselves, or the right time for them to express themselves. See, it's a whole bunch of stuff going on here, y'all. Yep. Okay, I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm gonna say okay. So anyway, I talked about the antagonist. Now let's talk about the protagonist so I can go into the superhuman powers. It's an hour and 31 minutes, y'all. I know. I know. Just ride with me. We're going somewhere with this. This is kind of nutty professor energy. Do y'all get that off me? So, let's talk about a protagonist. Really poor written notes. But let me see. I'm going to just try to read. Examples of protagonists are people that have acquired, earned accreditation or validation in at least one area or academic field that identifies them as an expert or proficient. Okay. That is to say, the world's system acknowledges them as worthy allies and or opponents. These professional people are eligible for advanced, lack of better words, compensation for their works. These particular people see and recognize the biases, corruption, and misuse of power, and stand with, oh no, this is the protagonist. Oh, okay. And stand against corruption on behalf of the people, even though it threatens their title and financial stability. Okay. I'm going to do it again, y'all. Right away with me. Gotcha on that. If you don't have control or discipline, other spirits can get activated inside of us. Yes, ecstasy. Yep. Okay, y'all. What I do, I get lost. Sometimes the angels try to channel. You want to channel in, and so I be in and out. What am I about to do now? Because I was gone for a minute there. I'm back. I'm back, y'all. See, I was gone in the spirit. Y'all didn't even know I was gone in the spirit. My body's sitting here. I can't wait to watch this back. It's happened a few times here, but that time I was gone. So I'm back. Please like, share, and if you haven't already, subscribe. So right now I'm just going to read my notes. I'm just going to read them. I'm not going to get dramatic. And right now I'm about to read about the antagonist. The antagonists are the demons in this world. We talked about what they would be like. My notes are rough, but here is what they say. An example of antagonists are people, organizations, social structures, cults, etc. that have an invested interest in revising, maintaining, and sustaining previously established social constructs, primarily patriarchal in nature, that manipulated people into service or something, various social constructs that, I have no idea what the word, cultural constructs that restricted the people from their constitutional right to pursue, the life, liberty, and to be in the pursuit of happiness, whatever, freedom, life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Forgot to look that up. The policies that work to manipulate the policies, rules, and laws to be beneficial, even profitable to themselves and those they deem similar to themselves, and or others deemed worthy and or essential to the success of their basic agenda or the world structure. That's the antagonist. Now let's read the protagonist. An example of protagonists are people that have acquired or earned accreditations or validation in at least one area or academic field that identifies them as an expert or proficient. That is to say, the world's system acknowledges them as worthy allies and or opponents. These professional people are eligible for advanced compensation for their works. These particular people see and recognize the biases, corruption, misuse of power, and stand against corruption on behalf of the people, even though it threatens their title and financial stability. Okay, so I was just talking about what differs or is different between the antagonist, which is the demon, and the protagonist, which is the angel. The antagonist and the angels, earth angels, Both have the same level of awareness, capability, and skill. It's just how they decided to use it, etc., etc. And so I'm going on. Okay, y'all. Last thing is, let me see if I'm doing this right. I guess I go to scene 2. I don't know. What's the scene? I did that one. Okay, I guess this one. Superhuman powers. All that time. This is what y'all was waiting for. Oh, man. I'm about to eat this lemon, y'all, because I'm feeling sick. Okay. We have now entered into 2020, into a new decade. And I believe that there are going to be, we're going to have some unique life experiences that we can't even fathom. We can't even fathom. And so we will go through battles. Attached to this video is a card that talk about the spiritual battle is on. Well, yeah, the spiritual battle is on. Now is the time for us to use our superhuman powers. We have been using our superhuman powers. Did we perfect them? I don't know. It depends on who you are and if you were in tune, if you were aware that you actually even possessed superhuman powers. And that it was actually what you were doing was a power, And so it depends. But this is the time that we will be called to use these very superhuman powers. As I talk about this list of superhuman powers, I think I got about 15 of them. Excuse me. I know some folk gonna say, that's make-believe. But I ask you, a person like that, to think very deeply, to meditate on these superhuman powers. These things that I'm deeming superhuman powers. In order to give yourself the chance to see the benefits, I guess, to such powers. Okay. So anyway, the first power is the third eye. Third eye, yes, is a superhuman power. And what is the third eye? The third eye is discernment. Which is keen perception or judgment. It is being able to read between the lines. Synonyms for the word discernment are a person or is having insight and judgment. Third eye. Yes, the third eye activation is a superpower coming online. The next one is self-control. Yes, self-control is a superhuman power, whether you know it or not. Self-control, synonym is will, W-I-L-L. And will is power of choosing one's own actions. Synonyms for the word will are intention and discipline. The next superhuman power is apathy. Yes, apathy is also a superhuman power. A synonym for apathy is detachment. Detachment is defined as the act of disengaging or separating something. The separation of a small unit from its main body. Controlling your emotions. Now, I want to stop because I shared in a video I made about a year ago, and it's called Our Superhuman Powers Are Coming Online. And in that video, I was talking about how I had an episode, I'll call it, and I ended up going to the doctor. Doctor couldn't find nothing wrong. And I talked about the pain I was in and how the lady in the room next door to me in emergency was also obviously in considerable pain. And she was hollering, like being tormented. She was being tormented. And I was facing, so I had so much pain and I was being tormented. What am I talking about this for? Because it's just how I've been trained. And I've been trying to share, so y'all can see where I get my validation from or my accolades from. I get them from life. So life was training me. And in that moment, I was like, wow, I'm being trained. And it was just you have to go find that video. It's called Our Superhuman Powers or My Superhuman Powers Are Coming Online or something. But I just talk about how I had to transcend my physical vessel, come outside of myself, detach, in order to deal with or cope with the severe pain I was in. And I talk about how I was watching and experiencing myself go through it. And it was like this meditative state. And it kept my spirit from being tortured and tormented by the physical pain. It helped me not to have to scream out in pain and agony and all that, I just experienced it. Like I was one with the pain, like it was in me, but it was outside of me, and I'm just watching it do what it do. With this lady in the next room, from the moment she came in till I left, she was screaming and pleading and begging for help. She moaned and groaned like some of you hear hell. I was like, wow. And so it awakened me and said, now your spirit's like, now you see how you're dealing with what you got going on. See how she's dealing with what she has going on. Can y'all see the difference in what I'm saying? I was able to transcend out of my body where that woman was not able to do so. Her superhuman powers hadn't come online. And I'm not the only person, this is what I'm going to point out. I'm not the only person in this world that can transcend outside of themselves. Think about people that walk on fire, transcending out of one's physical self and just experiencing as an event unfolds. Who else? There's a lot of things. But anyway, I'm saying because I know I get stuck trying to think about stuff. And so what am I talking about right now? I'm talking about the superhuman powers that people possess, that they've always possessed them. At this point in time in the history of humanity and in the unfolding future, it would be, I think, for most of these, beneficial to an individual to be able to access and use these very superhuman powers. The first one is the third eye, and it's to have the gift of discernment. It is a superhuman power. The next one is self-control, or having will, which helps you determine your own actions. The next is what we've been talking about, is apathy, or a sense of detachment that allows you to control your emotions as well as other experience one may have that impact the body, especially. The next gift, I was just giving y'all an example. I'm going to try to give y'all a few examples of what I mean so you can see that these are superhuman powers that we've taken for granted. The next is foresight. Foresight, yes. Foresight is also called or referred synonymous with anticipation. And it's defined as the realization in advance. Realization in advance. And that's what foresight is what I practice here on my YouTube channel, foresight. Not so much prophecy or anything like that. It is being able to anticipate what will occur, probability, based on what has already happened, And so that is also superhuman power, because that's when you hear me say the word scenario, case scenario. These are case scenarios. I can anticipate this to happen, or this to happen, or this to happen because of what has already transpired. Superhuman power. And so, let me tell you how that one worked. Now, I've been working that one for a long time in my life. I anticipate certain scenarios relative to something that's happened in my life. So I come up with 3 scenarios, 3 possibilities, 3 probabilities. How do I know which one will happen? I don't know. There are 3 possibilities. But once I start living out the probability, the reality, it is the contents of the story that tells me which scenario I'm in. Does that make sense to y'all? That's a superhuman power. The next, I didn't finish. Foresight is anticipation, realization in advance. It says realization of probable case scenarios that can manifest as the direct result of a prior string of events, circumstances, and or situations. I said that. I didn't even know that was written here. Okay. All right. The next superhuman power is invisibility. You know, invisibility is a superhuman power. Nowadays, the way our system, our construct is set up, is everybody wanting to be seen, everybody wanting to be famous, everybody wanting to be known, liked, etc., etc. And that means all eyes on you. So a lot of people don't understand that invisibility is a superhuman power. A synonym for invisibility is inconspicuousness. Inconspicuousness. The definition of inconspicuous is not easily noticed or seen. Not, oh my God. Not something intent or striking. Not prominent. Oh, okay. I broke this pen. That's the same raggedy pen I had. I almost cussed y'all. Yeah, I think I ain't cussed yet. Hey, hello. What are mine? What are yours? I don't know. What's yours? Oh, your superhuman powers. You got to know that. You got to know that, not me. So, like, I'm going to give you an example. Okay. I was on invisibility. Which is inconspicuousness. And it's defined as not easily noticed or seen, not prominent and or striking. That's like some James Bond 007 stuff, to be invisible. You get what I'm saying? Where you can sit among people. These are people, they say, be snitches. You know, you can sit among people, but you're, again, inconspicuous, or you're not threatening. And so people, you know how you ever sit around somebody and their lips get real loose? Because you're not a threat in any way. And you can, you know, really gather some intel that way. That's a superhuman power. So, the next thing is naivety. Is that naive? Yeah, naive, harmless. The definition of harmless is unlikely to annoy or worry people or to be a threat. You know, and that is a superhuman power. Invisibility and being like what people may assume as naive. Or unassuming. Low-key. Superhuman powers. Next superhuman powers is being empathic. Empathetic. Let me see. Something is wrong. What did I do? Let me see, y'all. I got to do something. I got to check myself. It's been a minute again. Uh-oh. And I'm still going somewhere with this. This is the superhuman powers. And I'll tie it all in, hopefully, in just a moment. Did I do that right? I don't know. Is that correct? Yeah, empathetic, right?
Empathetic.
Yeah, I know. I'm not a great reader.
Empathetic.
But how is that? Let me stop. Because I did something wrong here. I know I need to copy that here. Confident? Come on here. No, Lord, I need to stop. Okay, don't do it. Y'all don't want to make my stuff freeze. Won't be long for this mug be going out because they keep sending messages. Bad it. I did something wrong.
Empathetic.
Empathetic. I did something wrong. But I have here confident. How is that? What did I do here? I always mess up. But I'm going to read. Maybe I'll figure out what I did. So this term,
Empathetic.
I have synonymous with confident. Confident. Is it? Doesn't come up. Maybe if I put confident in. Let's see. Yeah, I don't have it in me to make short videos that's serious. I just don't. Let's see. Okay. No, I did something wrong. What did I do? Anyway, confident is sure of oneself, having no uncertainty about one's own abilities, correctness, successfulness, etc. It was something I remember, but I can't remember. I remember, but don't remember, y'all. What was it? I know what it is. What was it? You know what? I remember, but I don't remember what was going on right here. But when the term confidence as a superhuman power, and somehow I got empathetic here. It is, how can I say it? Because I kind of remember what it was about. It's when you, as a person, find a truth. I think this is what it was relative. When you find a truth to something, you're very sensitive to it, to whatever circumstance, situation, person. You find out the truth. Whatever that truth is your guiding force or light. There's no biasness. And so in that, one has a level of confidence. It's like those earth angels that, go against the corruption of the system in order to doing their works from the perspective of they have taken an oath to uphold humanity in some way. That type of empathy and confidence in one's works and deeds. You know what I'm saying? Because those same people that go above and beyond the call of duty to do works that help humanity, that heal humanity, to inspire humanity, teach humanity, wherever the case may be, are also at the same time making themselves susceptible to the to backlash by their peers that are expressing themselves in a more demonic fashion or anti-humane way. You know what I'm saying? They can get backlash. They can be, I'm trying to make this make sense. This superhuman power about being empathetic and being receptive. And in that receptivity, whatever you receive and understand, you are confident in, you believe in so that you support it and you move on it beyond the opposition, beyond the chastisement or somebody coming after you to, ruin your career. A lot of this stuff happened with people that are, we call them whistleblowers. and their peers degrade them and say they crazy and tear their careers apart, all those kind of things. And so a person has to have a level of confidence that backs their empathic nature. You get what I'm saying? Oh, that makes sense. And y'all saying, I'm trying to get there, y'all. I got to figure this out immediately. My throat hurt. What did I do? Let's see. You said empathic as another. Okay. This just popped in my head, Nancy. It's called insanity, vanity. What do you think? Insanity, vanity? That go back to the video, the live stream I did the other day called The Knowing 2020. Insanity, vanity. Yes, George. And you said being empathic as another superhuman power. Yes. Before, in fact, you said another superhuman power was to blend in and make people feel comfortable to talk. Yes. That's a superhuman power. Because when you think about superhuman powers, when we go, what they call Marvel, comic, superheroes, what's the other superhero peoples? You know, they have X-ray vision. What does it give them the upper hand, right? So they know what they're walking into. Or superhuman powers allow them to, maybe superhuman strength. To, usually you see a superhero block something coming to crush the rest of the people, or the small one, the superhero able to cast the stone away or whatever that's going to crush them. So we're talking about abilities that we possess, we've always possessed. Now is the time that we'll begin to use them increasingly. And so I want each of us to be aware of what our superhuman powers really are. They're not mythical nor magical. It's stuff we've been doing. It's natural to us. We are magical beings, actually, but you know what I'm saying? It's nothing like it's not like superhuman eyes, like who got supervision? Superman? Our superhuman vision is discernment. You know what I'm saying? So that is our power. Or like you say, you sound like you're talking about Malcolm X. He was the whistleblower that's found out Elijah Muhammad was impregnating young girls, and that was killed. You see what I'm saying? That's a going story. And so these are what happened to people that tell the truth, that stand what they believe, that go against corruption. That's what happens. And so even Martin Luther King he gets assassinated. It's this level of confidence. Like, for instance, you talk about Malcolm X. Well, Malcolm X was empathetic to what? Those young girls that were being improperly influenced. What's the word? They say, what's the word? It has been suggested that these young women were improperly influenced and sexually taken advantage of by a person in power. And it took Malcolm X to have the confidence to come out, and talk about those things and move to try to do something about it. And it was an area of interest for him, or focus for him, because he was sensitive to what was taking place. You get what I'm saying? Okay. So now let's talk about the next superhuman power, and it's called clairaudio, which is hearing. Superhuman hearing, yes. The power to hear sounds said to exist beyond the reach of ordinary experience or capacity as the voices of the dead. Hearing from spirits, hearing from the dead. How about hearing somebody talk in the other room? You know what I'm saying? Hear somebody talk in the other room. What about somebody butt dialing you? Clairaudience. Being able to be still, be quiet and tune in on sounds and frequencies that everybody not be may not pay attention to. Like, I'm bad at that. I could be in a room with 4-5 people, everybody hear my phone ring but me. Now how was that? And it's on me, on my person. Is you gonna answer your phone? And people be mad at me. I be like, I ain't heard no phone ring. I hear other stuff, like speaking to the dead, talking to the dead entities. But that cell phone right there in the room with me, I don't hear. But there are people that do have clear audio abilities and be able to hear. Whether you can hear somebody in the next room and gather some information or intel that could be beneficial to you. And when I say beneficial to you, it could be something that saved your life. You know what I'm saying? You could find out somebody's plotting on you, or anything, and it saves your life. And so we're going to go into that in a minute. The next thing is having vision. The synonym for vision is like being an oracle, a person that sees, a seer. And it is oracle is defined as a person who delivers wise and highly regarded and influential pronouncements. A person that be able to see and talk about it. And so some of these superhuman powers are interchangeable or interlinked. Going on to the next, a decoder. Like I decoded this song with Kanye West, Jesus is God, whatever the name is, Jesus is Lord, whatever it was. It's like the movie Bird Box. We decoded the movie Bird Box. Decoding is also a superhuman power. And the synonym for decoder is decipher, or to decipher. And it is described or defined as to discover the meaning of obscure or difficult to trace or understand. An example of being a decoder, we just did something that we take for granted, that we are aware of, and we broke down the various constructs that create this whole world structure. That is decoding. Being able to break it down to its lowest form and see it for what it is. We could say pixel by pixel or cell by cell, and then putting it back together again. That's an example. It's just an example. Let me just, okay. Now I flip it back. The next one is, how about superhuman power of persuasion? Yes. Persuasion is also superhuman power. Synonym for persuasion is being alluring or convincing. And convincing or alluring is defined as to overcome. Clairvoyance, is it that clairvoyance? The clairvoyance is, what is the clairvoyance? Did I look at? Clairvoyance is something else. Let's see. Clairvoyance. Can't remember. Did I look that up? Clairvoyance is defined as the supposed faculty of perceiving things or events in the future or beyond normal sensory contact. So that does go with vision or oracle. Thank you. That I'm on the wrong page. George. Is it George? See, I missed that. Thank you. Clairvoyance. Again, let's see.
Clairvoyance.
Yes. The supposed faculty of perceiving things or events in the future or beyond normal sensory contact. Okay. Second sight, psychic powers, ESP, extrasensory perception. These are all similar terms. Sixth sense, telepath. Okay. We got that. Yes, George. Okay, so where was that? We did the color. Oh, the persuasion. Okay, we talked about the persuasion. Oh, to overcome, to vanquish, persuading or assuring by argument or evidence. This is all superhuman powers. The next superhuman powers, y'all, is silence. Silence, too, is a superhuman power. A synonym or a similar word to silence is secrecy. And secrecy is defined as the state of keeping something secret or a mystery. The next superhuman power is absence. Yes. Desertion, to desert something. Desertion is defined as willful abandonment without consent or forewarning, and in breach of obligation, the breach of you offering your ability and talent to another. Y'all get what I'm saying? When I say absence is a superhuman power, you know? How they say, absence makes the heart grow fonder, but you got to have something that is beneficial to the other. So how can I say it? Like say, let's say hypothetically, case scenario, a person is in a scenario in a life where they're highly beneficial or profitable to something or someone outside of themselves, right? Wow, I just thought of something somebody I worked with. And let's say you're working for an organization or a business that is unrighteous, that is anti anti it is not humane. It's not humane. It's against the people, but the people may not know it. But the works of this organization or business are corrupt in some way. And an employee is there, and they're what is the word? Dang, what did the astrology say? It was something astrology said. But a person works there, and they are very beneficial to that company or business success. Long as that person keeps showing up to that company or business, they are aiding that corrupt business in being successful in its corruption. But to abandon one's job, position, role, or whatever the case may be, pulling one's resources, skills, abilities, and talents out of a corrupt environment or inhumane environment is a superhuman power. Does that make sense? You weaken that opponent or the opposition or the corruption. Oh, that makes sense. The next superhuman power is comprehension. This is a big one we've been talking about. Anti-problem solving is a problem. Anti-solving, wait a minute. Anti-problem solving, not don't solve the problem is a problem. That's a problem. Don't solve the problem is a problem. It's a problem. So I'm coming back to you. And so comprehension, and this is something that I talked about a lot. Comprehension is a superhuman power. Everybody does not have the ability to comprehend. Remember, there are people that exist in this world that IQ is near 70, and therefore they are considered like morons or idiots, or may have some other or have a what do you call it, intellectual disability, mental disability, not mental, intellectual disability or something like that. And so they don't have the ability of comprehension, you know. And then there are other reasons people may not be able to comprehend, whatever the case may be. Anyway, to be able to comprehend is a superhuman power. A synonym for the word comprehend is awareness. Awareness is defined as the state or condition of being aware, having knowledge and consciousness. Now, my last superhuman power that I have listed here is joy. 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 Joy is a synonym for joy is contentment. And contentment is defined as the act of making contentedly satisfaction, ease of mind. So right now I'm going to quickly go over, I think there are 15 superhuman powers that I've shared. I'm going to go recite them again without the drama. And then I'm going to try to stitch this whole live stream together to show you how our superhuman powers coming online, as well as the earth angels and demons, all of these, what do you call it, beings and abilities will be amplified now that we've entered into this new decade. I'll try to make it make sense in a minute. Anyway, superhuman powers. The third eye is superhuman power: self-control, apathy, foresight, invisibility, naivety, or being low-key, empathic, clairaudience, clairvoyance, or a visionary, a decoder or decoding, persuasion, silence, absence, comprehension, and joy are just some of the superhuman powers that exist. These are things that we have never looked at as superhuman powers, but they are. And I would like to go into detail talking about how each of these things can be used as a superhuman power. But I'll leave that up to you to do so. To take it the next step. Now let me try to stitch this stuff together. Where am I at? Let me see where I'm at, y'all. Let's see. I did that. I'm going to come here. And I know I don't know. The assets, they're assets. That's right, they're assets. Definitely assets, George. See, you've been riding with me. Thank you. They're assets. And we talked about it. Remember when we were dealing with the astrology and asked what's the treasures that you possess in this world, the assets. See, for some reason, I can't think of these terms. Old people problems. You know, assets that you have. Okay, so what's happening? What's happening here, y'all? What was all this live stream about? Why did I talk about everything? You know, I kind of want to go over. Okay. What was I talking about? What do I foresee happening beginning 2020? So this is, I guess, somewhat of maybe a prediction, and why I made this video. Remember, we are moving from an old paradigm into a new paradigm. What does it mean to move from an old paradigm into a new paradigm? It means that our social constructs, those various social constructs we talked about during the course of the live stream, are being updated and revised. They are becoming more contemporary. What will make them more contemporary? Remember, they're being redefined, such as gender, is being redefined. What we see as masculinity and femininity is being redefined. And then there's also, we have to take in consideration the advancements in technology, So everything is being revised. And so since, how can I say this? I guess the easiest way to try to summarize this video, it first starts, before anything, it starts with humanity. That's it. Humanity, the us. The 7.5 plus billion people in the world. See, each of us, we need substance to live, to survive, to strive. Those kind of things. And it's because of so many of us, there's so many different, personalities and so many cohabitating spirits. It is possible for us to really get into it and to clash. So we do need to be governed or policed, And so, back to us. It's us. Everything is about us. And about making sure that we have all the natural resources that we need to sustain our lives while we're here for that important time. And because the world is so big, because there's so many people, we have all these different constructs that help regulate us. And we have rules and policies and laws and constitutions that say, okay, this is the best way to do it. This is the best way to do it. This is the best way to handle this group of people. This is the best way to handle the group of people in this particular sector of the earth. That is the, what is the word? The ideal. I'll say the ideal. I was going to use the word utopia, but that's not the utopia. That's the ideal. Just to sustain our lives in a reasonable manner. But that simple ideal has been corrupted. I've made different videos talking about why that ideal has been corrupted. Examples that we talked about in previous videos is that it is greed, the sense of self-entitlement. It also could be, I don't know, maybe it's some more spiritual, what was the word? Spiritual, sinister spiritual beings after our soul and interested in the state of our soul. Those are the things I talked about. And so there's just corruption. Now this whole system is corrupted. And at this point in time in the history of humanity and in times that are yet to come, this corruption will continue to grow. It has festered for generations. Generation after generation has festered. It's gone unchecked. And so we're in a time period in the history of humanity that corruption has contaminated or distorted this structure over here, these various constructs that help us govern, again, humanity, the distribution of lifespan and resources, etc., and make sure we don't cut each other head off. You know what I'm saying? Make sure we relate well and all that kind of stuff and who gets what, So now it's all corrupted. And because we as humans have not moved to uproot that corruption, we are at a time now that corruption is sprouting like wild weeds. Just recently we were just given an opportunity to uproot the corruption, and we didn't. I'm talking about on an individual level as well as a universal level. Not universal, worldly level. Whatever. Okay. I'm trying to get it, y'all. So, since the structure is corrupted, it doesn't have an interest in serving the people that create humanity. Meaning, it don't care if you have a roof over your head or if you eat, if you have a reasonable lifestyle. Don't care about any of that. Especially if you don't sustain, especially if you're not a part of the system. If you are not a part of the system as far as sustaining and maintaining it, then you're irrelevant. I'm trying to make this make sense. This is a prediction somewhat. And so from this point forward, I believe that there are particular people. See, this is it's hard to do because, again, there's 7.5 million people in the world, and we all have different profiles. And so there are, I'm sure, millions of people that have a profile similar to mine, but I don't know who they are, and they don't know who I am. And the same is true about yourself or anybody else, But, how do I say it? Based on certain people's profile, or a group of people that have a similar profile, they're going to have many undesired life experiences, is what I'm trying to say. I don't know how to say it. And in order to, I'll just try to say it like this, In order to deal with these unwanted life experiences that are brought on by, we can say, the corrupt system, a person will have to use their superhuman powers in order to get through it or to endure. Dang. I don't know how to say it. I don't know how to get it out. Like, there's some things going on now I know of. But again, I can't be transparent. This is a public platform and people nuts. Not y'all, but some. But there's a lot of shifts taking place in some of the branches, branches of the government. And it's already going against the people. But it's people with certain profiles that correspond with the different branches of government. And so, you don't know my profile, and I don't know your profile. That's it. Sorry, I'm trying to get you to see. It's not something that we're waiting for to happen. Things are already happening. I'm sure, just out of the people that's sitting here in this chat, there's something taking place in your life that, relative to our structure, that you don't agree with, that you don't know what to do, you don't know who to connect with, you may not know how to, address it. I think that's going on across the board. We don't know what to do. How can I say? Because it's big. It's big because there's so many constructs. So many people. And so anyway, I brought up the superhuman powers. What's going to end up happening is there are angels here in this world. And I have to find up during the course of this video. And they're going to move to do their works. Like the highest expression of Capricorn, the sea goat. The sea goat's tail, highest expression of Capricorn. They're going to do their works. And they're going to try to help those that are considered the underdog. I'm going to give you an example of what I mean by the earth angel. There is a commercial here that is ran on YouTube, before videos or doing videos. And it's a law firm. And the law firm has made a commitment to veterans or something. And there's a black guy that comes on. He says, we veterans, we never thought that we would be homeless, after serving. And he said he got addicted to pain medication or something after he found out he had cancer. He's battling cancer. Y'all know the commercial I'm talking about that they be playing. And so the law firm, I guess, run a soup kitchen or something to make sure, some type of shelter to help these veterans, be able to, he said, get their head together and get themselves right, that kind of thing. That's what I mean by earth angels in their works. And so they're going to be people like that do those type of works. But the demons, like, for instance, whatever has led those veterans to be homeless or addicted to a narcotic or whatever the case, having mental illness unchecked, those demons that perpetuate that set the rules and the policies in play to make sure that they can't get the help that they need or the resources that they need or the housing that they need or the food that they need or whatever they need. They make sure the system, the people that perpetuate that are the demons. And so the time that we're in is that the demons, and it's been like this for a while, are outweighing the angels. The system is corrupt. And so you as an individual have to understand what your superhuman powers are so that you can use them at will. Because it ain't enough angels. How do I say? It ain't enough angels to defend us all. It ain't enough angels to stand with us, with an individual. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to stand yourself. You got to be able to play the defense for yourself. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to run what they call it, the offense for yourself. That's what it means to why your superhuman powers at this point in time are I just give up. Oh, it's this arm. I just give up. But that's why, I'm talking about past, present, and future. That's another complexity I'm dealing with. In the past, we talked about superhuman powers coming online. They were coming online. We were being made aware of them and saying, pay attention to them, master them. And so that's why I'm getting confused, because I want to jump from the different time frames in which we already covered these things. But it came online and was pointed out in the astrology, in the astrology reports. Pay attention to your superhuman powers. What's your superhuman powers? It says, enhance them. Those assets, George, enhance those assets, because you're going to need them. Well, we're in the time now. We're in it. 2020, we're in it. That we're going to need those assets. We're going to have to know. It's not trying to figure it out now. You better know how to now. You're going to have to defend yourself against those that have a corrupting the system, the people that are in power. And I mean that on all levels. We're talking about, look at the imagery up here. We're talking about different branches of the government, 15 different branches plus numerous sub-branches or divisions. We're talking about education of all types, on all levels. We're talking about, you already see it. I mean, what I'm talking about now is not strange. We see it. We're dealing with all these gender, ways to identify gender. Again, I go back to it, and it's no offense to anybody, but it seems that naturally we're born with two genders, male and female, but now I don't know how many I read, maybe 9 different ways or identities associated with gender. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to have to use our superhuman powers in order to deal with the various circumstances and situations that will come into existence because of this new revision associated with even gender, or this new deviance back to a social construct. You're going to have to use your superhuman powers in order to deal with the deviance that exists. Everything, I'm going to give you an example. See, we often think of deviance about people like committing crimes just out in the street. You still have to have discernment then, and you have to read the room, read the room when you're out and about, because anything is liable to go down. But there's also deviancy in high seats, on offices and high seats and people that hold seats of power. And so you also have to know how to deal with them. Like, there are corrupt judges. There are demons. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing I forgot to mention, but I ain't going to even try. But I got to. That the angels and demons have these superhuman powers. How can I say it? Like an angel and or demon, I'm saying it because it's just the negative and positive. They all possess the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Negative, positive. But whether angel or demon, they have access their superhuman powers. They know what they are and they use them. Like the gift of discernment. What was them? Discernment. It was when I was trying to think relative to a particular area of work. Self-control. I like to talk about the law, y'all. I like to talk about the law. And I say that because, to say, a lawyer has superhuman powers. This is an expert in the field. Are they angel or demon? Are they working for the people, or are they working selfishly for themselves and the system or whatever, and the destabilization of humanity? Well, an attorney has come through and learned about the particular construct, the constructs of the world, to learn what is considered deviant, etc., etc., and is able to move in that field of study, which is law, in order to help regulate or govern, society. Now that attorney, who's either an angel or demon, also has superhuman powers. Some of the superhuman powers that attorney can have for real is like the example, the gift of the third eye. Being able to look and see, like, I'm about to defend a corrupt, deviant mother sucker that did rape, murder, da 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 da, and I know it openly, but I'm still stand up and defend them. Or a person can look at, an attorney can look at a person like, they didn't do it. And I know they didn't do it. Even at the deposition, I know they didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? Person can have a third eye. Just using that as an example. They could be empathetic. They are decoder. Just use an example of an attorney to get an idea across. They can be persuasive and can comprehend, or what's the other word? Have a level of awareness, again, about their line of work. And I'm just using that as an example to get you to see how at this time these angels and demons almost like one and the same. Again, it's about, are they standing for light or dark? Okay. But they also have the superhuman powers. The next level is just basic everyday people. And most everyday people don't look at such things as having the gift of discernment, etc., as a superhuman power that can help them overcome obstacles and challenges. At least to hold something off, hold a threat off until they can line up with an angel that can help them. And an angel is an angel because they have they've been validated on paper by our system. So the system can't ignore them. For most people like that, the system didn't know they were going to be radical, you know what I'm saying, or go against the system. They didn't know that. And so these people have their degrees and all that kind of stuff and experience, and they're just people that move in life. They have a lot of integrity. Again, they're a high expression of Capricorn. And so, but my point is saying, I'm going around in circles, y'all. And I'm about to smoke cigarette because I've been talking, and ain't got nowhere in almost 3 hours, but that's all right. Is that there are not enough angels that exist currently in order to help everybody. You have to be able to help yourself, is what I'm saying. And the way to help yourself is through those superhuman powers that astrology told us about, to harness home in on, and perfect. You are to use your superhuman powers. I just gave an example. I think it was about 15 superhuman powers, but there are so many more superhuman powers that exist. And it's up to you to assess what you readily have mastered in yourself, or at least on the way to mastering, because you're going to need it, is what I'm saying. Because our system, in short, is not going to do any better until there are more angels. So that's the next level. More angels. Either we people, humanity. What is this? Either we educate ourselves and become, remember, it's about the IQ. When I did the video talking about the IQ, I forgot who it was. I can't think of his name. He was talking about how the IQ doesn't matter. And I stated in that video, I was like, hey, the IQ does matter, at least from the, I'm tired of using the same word, perspective. That's another thing. I'm getting tired of using the same words. Perspective that all our system has to do is have an idea of what you're capable of doing. And if you fit within a certain IQ range, it lets the powers that be know what you're capable of doing. If they give your job or your school gives you an IQ test and they say, oh, you have an IQ of only about 95 or 100. They're like, you don't have it would seem like you have a capacity to be aware of too much, and be able to hold, various, let's say, various branches of information, or you wouldn't be able to hold a lot of different information and put it together like I can't now. You know what I'm saying? So they won't worry about you. But if a person get a high IQ, guess what? These people, the power it be, gonna be looking at you. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I was gonna talk about, I'm all over the place, y'all. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna finish this up. I'm gonna say this last statement. I'm gonna let y'all go. Thank you for hanging here at Can Angels Fly, Tarot, and more, and riding this wave of me. I know it was long and drawn out. Please like, share, and if you haven't already, subscribe. And if you're interested in submitting a love offering, you can do so through my Cash App Me link, which is below, over there, down at the bottom. I've what's they call it? Discontinued that super chat thing. I don't like that. Or you can, contact me at PayPal. And also, if you're interested in ordering your own personal tarot reading, you can do so by contacting me at my email. My email is canangelsfly1@gmail.com. I know I'm all over the place, y'all. I'm in, out, I'm sick, channeling, doing all kind of stuff. I know it's weird. I'm a weirdo. It's okay. So anyway, I forgot what I was going to say. Old people stuff. What is this about? What is it about? I was going to say... Well, I'm just saying this. Figure out your superhuman powers. Because you're going to need them. You're going to need them. About growing the population of angels. Earth angels. How do you grow the population of earth angels? Well, one is to become knowledgeable about a particular area of knowledge, a branch of knowledge. You have to raise your level, your intellectual capacity, your level of proficiency in a particular area. You have to be, you have to have a worth or a value in this world, in that way. And then as you do that, you also bring all of your superhuman powers online. And you become an angel, or Chiron, the wounded healer. That's who you become, the overcomer. Now, don't get me wrong. In this video, I was also dealing with this subject matter as if it wasn't broad. That was, I guess, another complexity. When I say that, I mean all of this is taking place in your own personal, intimate life, but it's also happening on a global level. I think I was saying this earlier, global level. And so when I say become proficient, I'm talking about even proficient in your immediate life. I'm talking about like running your home and what it takes to run your home. I'm talking about being active in your city and in the politics of it. You got to be knowledgeable. And I mean, I don't want to be a person that say, hey, you need to vote or do this or become involved in the communities, whatever you call it, the community, what do you call it, block club, build a block club. I would prefer not to be the person that says that, but that is the source or the avenue in which we, the people, begin to take control. That's the source. I mean, that's what everything seems to be pointing to. Is if you want, I mean, we enter into this phase. I guess we can't stop it right now, which it might be difficulties or challenges. For some equivalent to the what do they call it, the Great Depression of the 1930s. For some, others will turn their head. Okay, that's okay. So that's a phase we'll go through. But how can we come out that phase quicker? Is to become more proficient and to begin to work together. And the only way we're going to end up working together on a larger scale is to begin on a smaller scale. It's within the home, the family, and the family unit, and which is, there was so much to deal with. Maybe I should have broke this down. Oh, man, I should have broke this down. Because the family unit is also being redefined. What did it say? It was 19 different families or family types or something. Was that marriage? Marriage. But It's a lot. Oh no, it wasn't that many families. It was what, about 6 or 7 families. So families are being redefined. For some cultures, they've been, broken down, and so that has to be reestablished. Otherwise, those corrupt people that are in power, whether they're physical in a physical vessel or in some alien body, are going to continue with this corrupt system that is not in the favor of the people. Does that make sense, y'all? You know what? I've been taking cough medicine. Not that kind. However, I got a little frustrated because it was a lot to talk about in this live, and I wanted to do it in one video and to try to make sense of it in one video, but it was overwhelming. But hopefully you got the gist of it and understand that I really don't know how to do it. I'm looking at the social constructs right there, the little images over here, trying to see how I might have done this video better in order to help you see and understand what's going to be taking place. I don't know how I could have did it any differently, but we'll see how upcoming streams go. But all I can say is that we have to. Well, we don't have to. We don't have to do nothing, but it would be beneficial to us to form communities, block clubs and things like that, and begin to work for a common goal. Otherwise, we're going to be overtaken. That's what I'm seeing. And I'm what I want to do is create a live stream. I don't know if I can. Looking at some of the revisions that are going to be made to these various social constructs and the negative impact it's going to have upon the people, or the impact it's going to have upon people. Because remember, there's a division in the population: is those that financially cannot withstand the revisions, and is those that can just withstand the revisions of our social constructs. Then we have it's not just that, it's that, but it's also then it's also the divide as far as employment, and it's those that will be forced or manipulated in working for minimum wage, or making barely enough to sustain a reasonable lifestyle, forced to do so. Those that make more by supporting this construct willingly in all of its corruptions. And it was this separation. What was the separation about? I can't remember what the separation was about. Oh. And how it's so much. It's so much. I mean, I guess I can't go through all of it here. We've gone through it all. We've gone through it all. So I do ask you to just go back and to watch some of the older videos that I made, because it focuses in on each of these subject matters that I've discussed in this live stream and so much more. I talked about culture and being a part of a cult. I've talked about, this is the first time I talked about the social constructs in detail. I don't know how to say it. It's so much. I gotta figure it out, y'all. Well, y'all, I'm sorry I done held y'all so long and I done scatterbrained. And so I'm gonna let y'all go. I'm probably, what time is it? Because I've been asleep. Because I've been sick all day. Oh, it's 2 o'clock. I guess I'll come back live tomorrow if I ain't too sick. And do another live. Even though I'm not sleeping now, I've been asleep all day. I went to the doctor. Been asleep most of the day. I don't take no more medicine. I'm tired of taking medicine. I'm going to get some more water and drink this water. And I don't know, maybe come back live. I don't know what I'm going to do. But I got to figure out this mess I just did. Hopefully y'all was able to ride the wave and get something from it. And hopefully it makes sense to you. Again, if you don't take nothing else from this wild and crazy ride, take it that understand that you must, or you don't have to, but it would be beneficial to you to understand what your superhuman powers are. And One more thing, y'all. Going back to those cohabitating spirits within each one of us, have you identified your cohabitating spirits? Why is it important to identify your cohabitating spirits? Remember, this time period that we're moving into is a time period that all will be like spirits will be walking this earth. Like my cohabitating spirits can jump out at a person if I don't have control. Let me see how I can say it. So, let's say I have a scenario in my life where I'm being taunted by an antagonist. Remember, I always talk about the double-headed dragon, right? So, it's case scenario. I pray not, but I'm taunted by an antagonist. If I'm not a steward or a captain of my vessel, my ship, my body, and the spirits that dwell within, then that double-headed dragon that I talk about can seize control of this vessel, and it will, I'll say, confront or do battle with that antagonizing spirit that confronts me. Okay, that might not be the right way to handle that circumstance and or situation. I, Nancy, may have another cohabitating spirit that would be more effective dealing with that antagonizing spirit. Do you get what I'm saying? So you must know, you must know the various spirits that dwell within, because the time is here that you have to say, this is how we don't say it, but this is how it is playing out in the background. Come on over here, talking to myself inside, spiritual. Come on over here and deal with this antagonizing spirit, whatever spirit. The spirit of, let's see. I'm an Aquarius, so as an Aquarius, we're supposed to master communications, words, language, different things like that. So, and social, the social sphere. So if I'm an antagonized spirit comes my way, I might not want the double-headed dragon to come out, because it could do what? Lead to additional experiences, maybe violence, So I might want to call, like we'll say, the spirit of the Aquarian, come negotiate this situation or handle this situation using my words, using them quick, clever, cunning, rebuttaling, those kind of things to shut that spirit down. You know what I'm saying? So you have to know which spirit to allow to take control of your vessel at a given time in a particular scenario or experience. That's one of the things. And those also has to do with their superhuman powers. You get what I'm saying? Like, for instance, if I was to allow, I was dealing with a scenario and it was time for me to call a double-headed dragon and say, here, you got control of this spirit of my physical body. Do your thing, double-headed dragon, right? Well, the double-headed dragon has a particular consciousness. And that consciousness does what? It shut everything down. All I see is blood and red. And it gives me extra strength. You know how they say, when people get angry, they get extra strength. Well, the crazy people got strength. So this double-headed dragon gives that. That's his consciousness. And it will do that, be it. And that's all it can do. It can't do nothing else but what it knows to do. Just like the Aquarian entity only knows its level of consciousness, its set of consciousness, and it can only do that. You know what I'm saying? Me, Nancy, my spirit is the governor of all these cohabitating spirits. And I got to know when to unleash them. On who? Doing what? At what time? You know what I'm saying? I got to be able to pull them back at any given notice or moment. And I talk about that like with the Chariot card. Y'all ever heard me talk about the Chariot card? That's what the Chariot card really talks about to me. Is being able to control the harnesses attached to those cohabitating spirits within an individual. I'm bringing this up and I keep talking about it because this is a time period that a person can be triggered. You can be triggered, and you have to know how to handle the situations. And what scene or scenario will you be triggered? Here, these social constructs. Does that make sense? You're triggered due to something that occurs in one of these social constructs. You got to know how to deal with it. And then I talk about the angels and demons, because there are people out here that are antagonists, and there are people that are protagonists. There are people that will be down with you, but they're far and few, and they might be busy, so they might not be able to get to you. You got to be able to handle your own thing. And then there are the demons. They out here, and they everywhere. You know, they're going to be all consuming. They're abundant. So, I mean, you can go to the school and go to the school and one, go to, I don't know, DMV and meet one. Go, I don't know, you might marry one. I don't know. But there are a lot of demons out here, and you got to be able to know how to handle them. Long time, we ain't been able to see in the spirit in a very long time. People seeing in the spirit came from the older generation. Oh, I see in the spirit. Oh, them veils. You got a veil on your face. That's not something that's recognized now. It hasn't been recognized for some time. And so this is a time period, it seems to me, that life, God has offered us the opportunity to be able to get back in tune with actually seeing in the spirit. All of this that we are experiencing is like the, what do they call it? Like even on the computer, we can't see the binary codes running in the background. We don't know how to see we don't know how to see the binary codes running in the background of our worlds and lives. But they've been running. We don't know them. We don't know them. We don't know the codes. All we can see is the imagery in front. You know, that's all we know. That's all we know. And so that's what I did the other video, the knowing in 2020, is that the outside or the vessel can look one way, but the interior be a whole nother way. Anyway, I done tried. I'll get back at y'all. Happy New Year's and bye.